Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this call. It is Monday evening, time for crypto talk. And yes, at last, we see some green. And I don't know if it's got anything to do with the rugby that we had on Saturday. I was at the 70s party for a friend of ours that turned 70. And I tell you, we were at the sports club and the people got mad in the club with regards to the rugby. I trust that you had a good place to watch the rugby and that you enjoyed it, and that you had just as much fun as we had. But yeah, it was a tight one. But fortunately, we have green in candles in the evening or in sight at last. We see some green, and I have the normal suspects here with me tonight again. Thank you, Marius and Jason, for being on the call with me tonight. And tonight, we will look at the market. And as you've seen on our introduction, but let me just show you that quickly. Tonight, we talk about the market analysis, the Bitcoin, the crypto market analysis, but we also go look at, is it the possible bottom? So everyone is asking the same question, is when is the crypto market bottom in? When will we have the bottom? And I've listened to 3 different guys today who are highly respected chartists telling us what's happening in the future with all their different algorithms and stuff. But you know what? Between the 3 of them, I heard 3 different stories. But in the end, I'm excited because there's a positive outcome in the 3 stories. But in the meantime, the in between now and the nice outcomes, it's not a good story in all 3 of the people discussing it. But tonight, we are privileged to have on the call, we have our subject matter expert on crypto trading, Jason Ashington, our subject matter expert at the Crypto School. We have him with us in the room tonight, and he will tell us where he sees the market at the moment. He will discuss the current market conditions with us. And Jason, I don't think I have to say any more than that to get you going tonight. It's just one of those times in crypto. So without further ado, Jason, open your charts and throw the bones. No, don't throw the bones. Look at the candles and the chart and tell us what's happening in the markets, please.
Thanks, Daniel. And yes, you're trying to predict where the bottom is. Very difficult. I don't think there is anybody out there that can predict it. I've tried to predict it over the last 3 or 4 months, and I've got it wrong every single time. Just when you think that it's the bottom and you start buying in, guess what? It goes lower and you end up buying back. You end up selling lower than where you bought, losing a whole lot of capital in the process. So I gave up on that idea. But what I'm starting to see in the market is a bit of glimmer, and it's not in the crypto market, it is in the leading indicator as far as the stock market is concerned, and some sort of indication that we've seen around inflation that could be at a turning point. But before we get there, let us just have a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now. So we go onto the daily chart, we can see where we've come from, and we need to go back, unfortunately, what's it now, 8 months?
Yeah.
And so we came all the way from 68,000 in November, and it's just been a slow bleed, one after the other. And you can see these times where we had this consolidation going sideways, and then suddenly it dropped off. And you can see these periods of consolidation is actually getting smaller and smaller. So gone sideways, dropped, gone sideways, dropped. And it's looking pretty much like what happened in 2018, where we had one drop after that was like going down the stairs. And
Jason, if I just can remind you of the fact that you always tell us that the bulls climb the stairs, but the bears jump out the window. And I see that this bear has been out the window 5 times now.
Yeah, he somehow doesn't fall straight to the floor. He falls onto the next level, and then he climbs out that window and goes to the next level after that. Yeah. So last week this time we were at about 20,800. This was a 27. Yeah, somewhere around there, 21,000. We did go down last week, and you can see we're starting to make a nice bit of a recovery today. But I must just warn you that there is major had resistance here in this area here between sort of 20,600 right up to 21,600. In this $1,000 area range here, there's major resistance. So in the time being, I don't see us going through this area straight away. I can see a bit of resistance here, unfortunately, and possibly coming back down again. And the reason why I'm saying that is that if we just have a look at the stock market, and I don't think the stock market is ready to go up based on what's been coming out of the Fed and that just yet. The market is waiting for some indication from the Fed that things have turned and the hikes of the interest rates have come to a top, and there won't be any more hikes going forward. I think that's what what the market is waiting for. So there will be, I don't see us going straight up through this resistance now. I see us possibly going sideways. We might have another drop after this. I did measure out another level down here at 17,234, and we did come close to that 2 Saturdays ago. We came down to 17,639, and this level comes back from, I'll take a fib from the low in December 2018. That was cycle low to the top in November last year. And if we take that fib up like that, you can see that we are the 786 retracements right there at 17,234 on Binance. So I'm hoping that level holds if we do have another drop in the next week or two. But there is a bit of light coming through at the end of the tunnel. And that light that is coming through is what I'm seeing in inflation. And remember, inflation has been the cause of this drop. It's been the main cause of this drop over the last 6-7 months. And if you can remember what happened to oil, and oil is obviously the biggest commodity out there that drives inflation. And we just go back onto the weekly chart. Oil really started moving here in, when did it break out here? Sort of November. And you can remember it broke out here, started pushing up. And as the oil price went up, that's obviously caused you concern around inflation. And at the same time, the Fed already started the tapering towards the end of December. And what happened was that the stock market started dropping as they went into quantitative tightening. But if we have a look at the oil price, went up to $135 in March when that Ukraine and Russia war was announced, went right up to 135. It got rejected. They came back all the way down to $100, went and into this bullish pennant. It broke out here on the 26th of May when it hit resistance 125. And it looks like hopefully this is not a retest, but hopefully we are starting to come down here. But if we have a look at some of these other charts here, for example, the food, and let's have a look at wheat. And we know wheat, a lot of the wheat comes from Russia. Look what happened to wheat at the end of February, March. That sparked up, also went into a pennant, tried to break out, went into complacency on the Wall Street cheat sheet and got rejected there. And look what's happening to wheat. Wheat is tanking. So this is, if we look at what wheat is not just bread, it's biscuits, it's basic foodstuffs, and that price is all coming all the way back down to how it was in the beginning of February. And this is really de-inflation on foodstuffs now. Soya, major commodity. Look what soya is doing. Soya is absolutely tanking. If we go to hedges against inflation, which is gold and silver, absolutely plummeted last week. We came from from $22 all the way down to $19.40 in the space of, was last week, in the space of 6-7 days. There was a major drop in silver. And gold, there was also a bit of a drop in gold too. So these are all hedges against inflation. And this tells us a story that perhaps we're starting to see a drop in inflation. And what the stock market really wants is wants that Fed to come out and announce that, listen, they have got inflation under control. So they're going to brag about it. They got inflation under control. They don't see any more interest rates going forward, and there could be now a cut in interest rates later on in the year. And that's what the market wants to hear. Once they hear that stock market is definitely going to start turning, and it'll cause the crypto market, I think, to also turn around too. If we have a look at the S&P, now this is just purely my view, what I've seen in the market. I can be totally wrong. But as I say, the cause for the market to start dropping was really around the inflation numbers in the first 6 months. Now those inflation numbers seem to be coming down. So stock market has gone up in the last 2 weeks. You can see that starting to look a bit better there. But I don't think we're totally over yet. As I said, I think we've got another week or two of possible downside. And what areas, target areas that I personally see is, I'm just going to go to another chart here, and I'm going to focus on the S&P, and I'm going to go into the weekly here, and I already got it drawn out. I've got a green box here, and this is my bottom target. Maybe we don't even get to that level there. And if we draw a fib from the low in COVID to the top here at the end of December, and we just look for retracements, the 0.5 is at 3,500, more or less. And we are currently at 3,825. So there might be a slight more drop here. And maybe it doesn't even drop to these levels yet. And we know that Elliott wave, when we're going up, it's normally 5 waves up. When we drop, it's normally 3, 5, or 7 waves down. Now, I believe this is possibly 3 waves, where we've got the first wave down now. We are going to find a bottom, and then we're going to go up again into the midterm elections in November. And I've drawn out here 618 retracement above, and that is actually resistance there. You can see where it was support before. 618 up to the end of the year, and then a massive C leg down where possibly the debt market's going to implode. And that would be the big wave down that's going to drive everything down into 2023. So I think that will possibly play out. Another indicator that's showing us that the Fed has stepped in to now go back to quantitative easing is this 10-year yield. Now, the 10-year yield 3 weeks ago got out of control, where it started spiking up here. Let me just see where I am now. It started spiking over here on about the 10th of June, where we had 3 or 4 days of spiking. And this caused a lot of concern, especially around the markets. And suddenly it stopped, and we've been dropping since. And this is because they've gone from quantitative tightening back to quantitative easing now, where they're printing money now. And this is what's causing this 10-year yield down. Now, they're pushing the money back into the markets again, and that's what's caused this market to start going up. You can see there's one candle here on the 24th of June, for example. This was massive resistance area, support area before, and we actually just sliced through it, now through hot now through butter. So this was Fed pushing money back into the stock market again. So that's what I see, Donnie, that's going to possibly play out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think we're very close to a turnaround there. We want to see the DXY also. You see that DXY has been pushing up here. We at that resistance 104.5, 105 area. We want to see that DXY also start turning down. And that will only take place once the Fed has come out and passed on positive comments back into the market again. Will that money start flowing back into a risk on assets? Okay, let me see what else you want to see. Possibly the total market cap. We can see what's happened is that we still, unfortunately, below this 1 trillion level. We have found support over the weekend at 850 billion, and we've bounced off there, and you can see we're at 874. That level that I showed you now in Bitcoin, I think will go up to this 900 billion level again, and possibly find resistance there, and possibly just stay in this area for a while, for the next week or two, before hopefully start moving up with the rest of the market later on in this month. And that's really all from my side for now, Donnie.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. And yes, it's amazing to see what the market and how the markets react to quantitative easing versus what they're busy doing. Do they print money? Don't they print money? And I believe with you that they are printing money again. And that's why we see what we see. And the best news that you could show anyone on this call tonight was the wheat prices, the soy prices, the oil price coming down. We are in for a shock of a petrol increase again tomorrow night at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I know someone on this call who's bargaining on going to the Kruger next week. And he would have wanted the petrol price to come down and not go up again. But I hope you fill all your tanks and everything today, or done it already today. The previous petrol hike, I tried to fill up on Monday afternoon at 5. And the petrol station said no more petrol. I have to wait until Wednesday. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't filled the tank. I've done half a tank today because I was in a hurry, but let that be as it may. So yes, Jason, thank you for just showing us the market. We'll get into crypto just now. Before we go to crypto, let's ask Marius. Marius, what do you have to say with regards to the markets and where we're at?
I'm silent, my friend. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, every week we are all on the crypto talk, and Jason, you do an immaculate job with the charts. But in a few years' time, this what we see here is only going to be a blip on the charts. And I always say you have to look at the drone view, and Donnie says it's not drone, it is a helicopter view. But just look at this, what the successful guys do. Michael Saylor is the perfect example of buying the dip. He has purchased an additional 480 Bitcoins for $10 million at an average price of $20,000 per Bitcoin. Now they hold 129,699. Couldn't he just buy one Bitcoin more to make it 700 Bitcoins? Because now I nearly zoom out that number. And he acquired it at 3.98 billion at an average price of $30,000 per Bitcoin. That is great. That is amazing news for me. So you can see that while we are stressing and struggling around the price of crypto, look at what the big guys are doing. They are buying. And just another few things that I picked up on a few places here. But look at this. The Bitcoin family says that they lost $1 million on the investment this year, but sold at a peak. And I replied to that and I told the guys, they didn't lose anything because they didn't sell. Their portfolio is just a lot smaller, but you only lose when you sell. And I just want your insights of all your clever guys about this, the Uganda's gold discovery, what it could mean for crypto. So they discovered 320,000 metric tons of gold in Uganda. And the same guy that bought and said, gold is plentiful, Bitcoin is scarce. That is where I am with my mindset around crypto. I've been in crypto for the last 5 years, and I'm still bullish on the long term for crypto. So yeah, I stay excited. I don't worry about the news and the FUD around crypto of where we are now. And what we always say in the crypto world is #need more dollars. Yeah, there's always bargains coming up. And when the candles goes green and the price of Bitcoin and all the altcoins goes up another 100 to 200 to 500%, we only could wish that we bought more in the bear market. But yeah, that is why we need Jason and all the clever guys around us to tell us, when can we buy? When is the bottom? Great. Daniel, Jason, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Marius. And yes, Jason, you go.
Sorry, the one thing, Marius, I just want to comment around the gold. The gold is obviously still under the ground there in Uganda, and it can take another 50 years for them to bring the gold out. So that won't affect the price now straight away.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Thank you, Jason. Yes, I've just put up on my screen my chart, my Bitcoin chart, and you all know this chart by now. Let me maybe somewhere make it bigger. And that's my chart, and that I showed you previously before already. Remember, I had that accumulation zone that was on my charts here from 20th of May 2021 until the 21st of June 2021, but we never hit the accumulation zone. And I truly thought that, you know what, that kite has flown. I'll never see that accumulation zone. And it was a small accumulation zone. It was only pulled to here. But then the charts started moving, and here we got back in 25th of January. We started looking at this accumulation zone, and I thought, no, it's not possible. And Stru's Bob, on the 8th of May, 9th of May, I was on a call. We'd done a crypto talk in that time, and I said, you know what, that accumulation zone is still too far away for us. We're not going to see it, because the actual average price, or actual real price, sorry, not average price, real price of Bitcoin is sitting there at 38,000. That's the real price of Bitcoin. That's what the Michael Saylors of the world and them said. The real price of Bitcoin, doesn't matter what the price is doing, the real price is $38,000. And that was made public, the 7th, 8th, 9th of May. And yes, lo and behold, we hit that accumulation zone, and I thought, yes, we're out of it. We can buy a little bit, and I've thrown three Bob 50 into the market, and we left, and I thought, yes, what a cool purchase that was. And there was another coin that I told Jason, I got a real bargain on this coin. I got it for this price, and lo and behold. Unfortunately or fortunately, I still hold that coin. So according to Marius, I haven't lost anything, but here we are. And that is where we are with Bitcoin at this moment. And Jason just discussed with us this little nice green candle that we saw, and what's the opportunities ahead. So Jason, allow me or let me stop talking nonsense and give over to you and say, please go to your crypto charts and tell us what in the crypto charts you've shown us, what in the market you've shown us the big picture.
Yep. So there's two things I want to talk about now. And the first one is, if we do find a bottom soon and we're not too sure exactly where it's going to be, what will be the targets to the upside? That's the first thing in Bitcoin. And the second thing, I just want to have just a quick chat around the opportunity that lies in altcoins. So let's just have a chat first around Bitcoin. And I'm going to go onto the 3-day chart, so that might be a bit easier to see here. And you can see where we came from in November. We've dropped all the way down here, and we find ourselves now at 20,000. So if we do find a bottom here in the next 2 weeks, where is the major resistance areas going to be to the upside? We can clearly see that the first major area is around this 30,000. And I think this 30,000 would still hold today if that lunar crisis didn't happen. The sell-off in Luna, the sell-off in its backing in Bitcoin caused the drop from 30 down to 20. You can see that massive candle there on the 12th of June, where we dropped from 30 all the way down. That was over 3 days. So to the upside, there is going to be a small resistance here, first of all, at 24, small resistances, but the bigger resistance is going to be now at the 30,000. That was the major support that we had previously. The next resistance is going to be the daily 200, and that sits now at 37.5. And you can see where it's exactly sitting here. And if we take it, you can see there where it was previous support also, 37,500. That's also going to be a resistance to the upside. And then we know that there's some other levels up here to the upside that was also going to be resistance on the way up. And then if we go from where we are now, as I say, to the upside, there's also other resistances. If we go to the weekly 200, that is sitting 22.5. Funny enough, that is also going to be a small resistance there. And if we go back into history in December 2020, we would have seen, how far am I going back? Sorry, apologies. We need to go into the daily chart here. We had a bit of resistance here at 24,000. So there is a small, so this whole area, we're going to be hitting one resistance or the other on the way up. So this whole move back up, as Donnie has alluded, was the bulls climb the stairs and the bears jump out the window. So the bulls are going to take their time to move up here to get back up to these higher levels. And we can even take now a fib and look at possible retraces based on fib, on the human emotion. And if we take that, for example, and we're not too sure, as I say, exactly where the low is, but just say it's at 17. We got 382 at 37. We got the 618 right up here at 50,000 of all places. But it's a hell of a long track to get back up to the top of this flats, as Donnie says, from level to level, all the way back up here. So for the next couple of months, we just, as I say, we have to identify these areas of resistance and then trade accordingly back up again. But the opportunity, I don't really think lies in Bitcoin in the next 5 months. The opportunity really lies in these altcoins. And if we just have a look what's happened here, and I'm going to the day here in the top 100, we've seen a massive move. SAN has gone up 15, Rune's gone up 15, CRV 11. If we go to the exchanges, Binance Exchange, also for the day, you can see some higher numbers here, NEB, and then onto these micro alts on KuCoin. You can see that also a couple of 30% is around. So the opportunity is going to be in the alt in the next couple of months because they have gone down by 85 to 95%. And if we go and have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, funny enough, the money has already started flowing out of Bitcoin into some of the alts already on the 12th of June. So 2 weeks ago already, money has started flowing back into some of the alts. And we've seen some fantastic moves in some of these alts. Data, for example, went from just below $1 all the way up to $1.50 in the space of a couple of days. It has retraced all the way back to 122 again. But if we go and have a look, for example, where we went from that 12th of June, where I spoke around on the dominance, from 96 cents all the way up to 155 on the 25th of June. So the space of 2 weeks, it went up more than 50%. So it just shows you the power of these alts. On when they're going to recover, they're going to recover very quickly, and they're going to go cover quite a big percentage to the upside. Whereas Bitcoin on the way up, it's going to be climbing the stairs slowly but surely. So we need to identify what are the alts that one needs to look at and spread their portfolio over. Don't just put it into 1 or 2 alts. You need to spread it over 5, 6, 7 alts. Have a nice spread there because, as I say, these alts are going to recover quickly, and I think they're going to really recover the bigger gains versus the big market caps like Bitcoin. Ethereum's going to recover nicely, but it won't recover as quick as some of these other smaller alts. So if we have a look at Ethereum, Bitcoin, now Ethereum is the second biggest coin by market cap, and we always look at a chart with the Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Now, when the chart is going down, it means that Bitcoin is gaining dominance versus Ethereum. When the chart is going up, the reverse is happening. It means that Ethereum is gaining dominance over Bitcoin. And you can see from that same day where I showed you with the dominance dropping on the 12th, guess what's happening with Ethereum? It found a low and it's starting to move up again. So you can clearly see that the money is now slowly filtering back into the altcoins. And that's a clear indication around that. Donnie, I don't know if you want us to have a look at 1 or 2 of the altcoins, or...
You are absolutely welcome to look at 1 or 2 coins, Jason.
Yep.
The problem is, Jason, at the moment is the alts are going to pop, but we don't know which ones. And they're going to pop like popcorn. It's going to be, one will jump and you won't be able to catch it. When you have popcorn on the stove without the lid on, it's going crazy. But the key is there are some indicators that will help us to narrow them down to a few for us. So please go.
Yeah, so It's very difficult to take 5 or 6 coins out of, I think Coin Market Cap has got at the moment 20,000 coins, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 20,112. Now, how do you choose 6 coins out of 20,000 coins? It's very difficult. And the biggest mistake you can do is choose your 6 coins and then see the coins around you popping, but your coins do nothing. Jumping out of your coin now and jumping into a coin that's already gone up over 30%, and then only to see the coin that you were and now starting to pop. And that becomes a hell of a frustration. And I was one of those in 2017 where I bought Litecoin for $4 and $6 and $7. It was doing nothing. Everything else around Litecoin was popping. I jumped out of Litecoin at, I think it was about $10 to climb into another coin. And guess what Litecoin did in 2017? Went right up to $350. And I wasn't in that party. Now, if we have a look at, I'm having a look at Phantom, for example. Phantom is a layer 1. And if we have a look at where we've come from, I need to go into the 3-day here. It was at an all-time high in October last year of $3.48. You can call it $3.50. And in January this year, we had a complacency. It went right up almost to the same price here and then started dropping from there. So we're currently trading at 25 cents and we've come from 3.50. So for me, that is definitely a possible coin that's going to recover very quickly, as it's a layer 1. For me personally, I'll be definitely looking at Phantom. If we just go through, Theta has had a slow bleed now for over 12 months, coming all the way from $16 down to $1. And I think Theta, I would definitely be looking at a bit of Theta also. I'm just telling you what I'm personally going to do. This is not financial advice, please. If you have a look at Solana,
Jason, Solana is one of those interesting ones. There are a huge amount of people shouting against it, and there are an opposite chorus going mad about Solana. So for me, I still own and hold Solana, but if you go look at the market, what the people say about Solana, there's 2 groups, and I don't know which one to believe in.
So the problem around Solana is that, is it centralized or decentralized? Because they seem to be able to switch the blockchain on and off like a light switch. So that is very questionable. But I know the NFT guys are using Solana now to trade their NFTs. So it has got a use case. Now, if we look at Solana in November, it was at $250. Today, Solana is right down at 34. Okay, so there is a bit of risk here, as Donnie's alluded. One just has to be careful with Solana, but there is opportunity there too. If we go into...
And Jason, we don't want to marry the coin. We just want to trade it. So that's why it can be a good one, but it's just don't get in a relationship with a coin. Buy the thing, trade it up and sell it.
Metaverse and gaming is going to be absolutely enormous. And if I just go here, Sand, for example, this is a hot favorite at the moment. Sand has come from $8.50 and is currently trading at $1.18. I personally like Sand. You can see it's already broken out of a major resistance orange line here that comes from November last year. We've already broken out of that. If we go down to smaller time frames, you can see we've come, and it's already, you can see today it's already starting to push up. So Sand is very hot at the moment. Mana is also is competitor, and is also quite a hot favorite. In November last year, it was at $5.88, and today we're below $1.89.
Jason, we can buy a few bargains here, eh?
Absolutely. If we go to look at Mutable X, that's another coin, quite a hot favorite. It's at 93 cents. And in January this year, it was at 466. And this is a brand new coin. It's just come on. So IMX is also quite a favorite. You can see where I charted this thing last in April up there, thinking that possible break it upside. Guess what? We carried on bleeding at 93.
And
We
your
had a
previous
nice-
stop loss on IMX just kicked in before your entry zone now again.
Yeah. If we have a look at ZIL here, yeah, let's just go to some of these prices. This was April last year, all-time high 25 cents, and then there was that massive news that came out in March this year. It went up to 23 cents, and we're now down at 4 cents. So ZIL also quite a hot favorite. The Red Bull team in Formula One.
Every team in Formula One has got sponsorship. Red Bull has also got Binance on them.
Not Red Bull, it's
Is
Red Bull. Tesla, I'll tell you right now. I've got it here.
okay. Aston Martin has got Tezos and TikTok. And,
Okay, so Ferrari's got Velas.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Mercedes FTX.
yes,
We got the McLaren as Tezos, sorry.
yes, McLaren is Tezos. That's it.
Yeah. Then we got the Aston Martin Crypto.com. And we got Barbit on Red Bull.
Yes.
And then
That's Bybit on Red Bull, not Binance. Sorry, Binance is on another car.
yeah, I don't know what that was, yeah. But these major sponsorships, yeah. So Tezos was at 9.15. It's at now 155. That's also quite a good mover. If we go up here, I mentioned Rune, AVAX. Okay, Rune currently at 211. Rune was up at $21 in May last year. So it's had a bleed of now 14 months. AVAX in November was at 150. We're now at 17.
Sure.
Near 343 was at 22. Matic almost $3. It's now at 47 cents. Link has been a hell of a disappointment. Also 15 months, 14 months of slow bleed from 53 down to 6. Ghana Games, remember what I said, Metaverse and Games is going to be a hot favorite. This is another personal favorite of mine. You can see I haven't charted for a hell of a long time. It's now at 5 cents. And it was at 84 cents in November.
Sure.
Engine also gaming is at 51 cents. I haven't charted that for ages. Was at almost $5. Dot was at $60 here in October. We had $7. Digibot, my old girlfriend from 2017. I was actually married to this coin. It's actually an insult to call her a girlfriend. I was married to this coin. It's below 1 cent now. And you can see what happened in May last year, right up to 18 cents. 165 in November.
Sure.
Cosmos 866. And we're at 44. This hasn't dropped too much. It's been holding here from 44 to 865. Arweave is at 12. It was at 90. So those are some of them that I personally look at. I'm not saying that you need to look at the same ones. I'm just showing you what I personally look at. I won't get into all of them. I might choose 6 or 7 that I need to get in for the next 6 months or so. I'll see some comments in the chat here. Is there anything there? Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm personally looking at, Donnie. I'll see, as I was saying, I'm going to see a lot more upside with these alts. I don't know if they're going to get back to the all-time highs again, but I definitely know that the recovery is going to be much quicker and much more than what we're going to possibly see in Bitcoin in those next 6 months.
Absolutely with you, Jason. I agree. There are some of those coins. Some of them have gone down 93 and 94%, and they're good projects. It's not that it's terrible projects. They have a use case. And so, yeah, I agree with you.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about is way in the future in 2023. And I spoke around this SPX where we've got an ABC. Now, we've come down and we're going to go back up again. And then sometime, I think next year, we're going to have the debt market imploding. And we're going to have a massive black swan event. Nobody is going to know the day and time when it's going to happen, where the drop, we're going to see a massive drop in the stock market. And unfortunately, it's going to bring down every other market out there. Remember, before massive inflation, we got stagflation or de-inflation also. So it's going to bring down the likes of silver, gold, and that before the money flows back into those commodities again. And unfortunately, for the years 2023, 24, we're going to see massive inflation coming through. We think the oil price now is very expensive. It's going to get very bad, unfortunately, going into the next couple of years. But what is it going to do for Bitcoin? Bitcoin is also going to have ABC, where we're going to go now up again. Possibly, I don't think we're going to reach all-time highs, but we never know. This market is so unpredictable. But see us having another drop going into next year, 2024, that is going to bring us down to levels, very low. And I think it's going to be a last chance for us to buy Bitcoin again. This is my personal target. There's nobody's told me about it, but I've got a line here that comes from December 2017. It touched here in 2019 again. You can see he's doing a few touches in 2020. I think we're going to come down and revisit this line again, right down here, just below 3,000 on Bitcoin. And it'll be the last chance that we can ever buy Bitcoin at these sort of levels again. It's just a personal target. Nobody knows with capitulation where the candle can go to. It can even go right through this. But it can, as I say, it can unfortunately come down to these levels. So what I'm trying to say here is that when we go into the next 6 months, we have to be very careful as we go into December. In the past, there's always been a turning point in crypto where it either goes up or goes down again in a cycle. And I believe that we're going to have a possible top here into December this year, and then possibly go sideways before another drop again. So we have to be taking profits here later on in the year and make sure that we don't hold this downtrend here, because this downtrend can be disastrous for any portfolio. That's it, Donnie. Thank you.
Sure. Jason, that's a mouthful at this. Thank you for an amazing job. And I've been riveted here. I've got a whole document that I'm enclosed onto a crypto thesis that I wrote here on what you said tonight and what we talked about and the different coins. And thank you for that. And the key is we have an opportunity to make money before we get that next event. And it's inside the cycle. It's not outside of the cycle. We're still inside the cycle, this 4-year cycle. And last year we talked about we should take a profit. And when we got to October, November, we all thought that, you know what, this is just the start. We're going to go to $120,000. And our fear for losing out on growth was bigger than our fear for losing capital. And this cycle was the last time that I made that mistake. I will never, ever make that mistake again. My fear for losing out on gains should never, ever be fear. We should not fear losing out on gains. Sometimes we have to sit out the market. And I can definitely show you 3 times in this last 6 months, 3 times that I clearly should not have been in the market. But because of my fear for losing out on possible growth, because of the input that you get from everywhere, I stayed in with some coins and I should have been out the market. But that's a lesson learned. I've recorded it. You guys told me that I have to record my pain. And every time as we go down, I have a little book here in my little shelf on my desk, where I record all that, and every bit of pain is recorded here. And I have that pain and it is recorded and I'm tracking it. And this time I'm going to do it different. Before I ask for Marius and Jason for closing comments for the, sorry, Jason, go.
Yeah, the other thing that really drove the greed part towards the end of last year was a guy called Plan B. Now, we don't know what he looks like, but Plan B came out with a whole thesis about his predictions for the last 4 months of last year. And funny enough, he got the September number spot on to the thousandths of a dollar, and he got the October number 100% correct. So everybody thought that this guy's a genius. The numbers for November was sitting at 100,000. The number for December, he predicted 130. So everybody thought this is now what's going to take place. We are not going to sell. We are greedy. We want that 130,000. And November didn't happen. They thought, okay, maybe he's got one mistake wrong here. I think December he'll get it right again. And unfortunately, yeah, the emotional part really pushed us to stay in the market. Now, the learning point there is that we have to be very careful around what comes out of the media, what comes out of any trader's mouth out there, because there was a lot of traders putting 100,000. So we have to be very careful about that, because sometimes what comes out of the media is said on purpose. So it drives the retail to buy so they can sell it into the retail buying into the market. We have to take it as a pinch of salt. We have to think outside the box. We have to think like a whale and not think like a retailer. And it's very difficult because you have to keep your emotions in check when you think about it. And the reverse is happening now. Everybody's calling Bitcoin now to go to 12,000 and to whatever the case may be. But who knows? Maybe we are the reverse what happened in November last year. Maybe everybody's calling 12, but maybe the low is already in. Who knows? So just be careful what everybody says out there. And don't...
Oh, Jason, and all the fat around the exchanges at the moment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But some of that firstly, and I think it was possibly with Luna and with, I don't know if it was Celsius, was the CEOs a week or two before the drop announced that everything was good. And what happened? Now, what's happened with KuCoin and all the FUD that's happening around KuCoin, now people are scared out there. They're taking their money out of KuCoin now. But you know what? We have to be careful out there. There are some exchanges that are very shaky and they don't have those coins in their circulation. Treat everything, I'm not saying it is true, but just treat it that it could be a possibility here, even though it is possibly a rumor also. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. Mark, before I go to you, I just want to share one screen with our viewers, and that is that please go to our webpage, thecryptoschool.co.za, subscribe to our free stuff so that you get our free stuff. We load our videos there on a weekly basis, as well as go to our Facebook page, YouTube channel, The Crypto School YouTube channel, and go and subscribe. Ring the bell so that you get our notifications if we load a new video. Marius, last comments from you.
Yeah, just also from my side, new into crypto, we've got a great learn to trade workshop on the Crypto School. That's at a great price as well. Let me just see if that thing is, yeah. I just pasted a tweet in the chat box that you can have a look at. And it's one guy that wrote the book Trading in the Zone. So if you click on that, there's a lot of tips that guy gives you. His name is the DeFi Edge. Just go and look and click on that. I will also click that or paste that in the chat box in our on the Facebook page. Yeah. So great, Jason. Thank you. It was a great evening.
Cool. Thank you, Marius. Jason, I know you want to say something still, so go.
Donnie, yeah, I've seen quite a bit tonight. I think we'll just prepare ourselves for the next 6 months, as I say. Write down your plan. Don't have your plan in your head. Write it down. Write down everything from what coins you want to possibly get into, what sort of entry you want to get into, what price you should aim for, to buy at. And look at what you want to achieve possibly over the next 6 months by looking at the charts. I've actually done that. I've got a spreadsheet where I've put down those 6 or 7 coins already, my sort of entry price and sort of price that I want to achieve at the end of the day, and what the prediction is going to be. So that's what I've done from my side. So it's all about planning. Just remember that you need to have stop losses in place. There is risk in the market. Even for the next 6 months, there will be risk. And we need to be taking profits, guys. And when that C leg goes down, don't be like me and try and catch a falling knife, because I think that falling knife is going to fall very far. Yeah, that's it. Hope everybody has a great evening.
Cool. Yes. Thank you, Jason, for a job well done. We really appreciate you as the subject matter expert on crypto trading at the Crypto School. And you're a chartist of note, and thank you for charting for us and talking us through that. Ladies and gentlemen, the key is go do your notes, go note down the coins that you want to follow, start charting them, start looking at them, get that entry price. And remember, never ever buy it all in at once. Split it up 3 to 5 times in the last 3-4 months. Any person talking to me about buying or selling, I say make it 5 different, break it up into 5 different chunks. If you want to get into the market, put in the first order today, put in the second order for 10% lower for in 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks time, if that order falls, you have that coin. If it doesn't fall, you stop that order and you buy at that price in 2 weeks time. But then again, the next week's portion or 2 weeks portion that you will expose to the market, you buy in at 10% less. You buy at that price at that moment, but you put in an order for 10% less than what the price is in the market. And lo and behold, I 3 times in the last 2 weeks, 3 times bought on altcoin trader, bought Bitcoin. 3 times the order was filled that was 10% less than the price at that very moment. Filled in this up and down and got filled. And so, yeah, it's the way to do it. We ladder in, we ladder out. If you want to sell, go put in your sell orders. Go put in sell orders in different chunks. Don't put one order in because we have this massive spikes. And to make sure that you sell at the best possible price for you. I know sometimes we're pressed for time. We need that money in our bank account today still. Then you're in trouble. You have to go sell it what the price is. But if we plan that, we can put in sell orders. And with all these up and downs and these spikes that we have, you can get a much better price than what the average price might be on the day that you're in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Marius. Thank you for everyone's participation in the chat box tonight. I see that Stephen has posted for us in the chat box the cryptos, which cars are in what, which manufacturers are in what, which coins. And we trust that you enjoyed the British Grand Prix over the weekend, but we're not here for that. We're here for crypto. I trust that you're going to have green candles in the week ahead. Thank you for being on the call tonight. Have a blessed one. See you next week. Bye-bye.